What's up? This is Gala, and this is the first episode of Going Beyond Spaces with Gala. Today, I want to talk to you about what holistic interior design is, why it's important, and a little bit about our Beyond Spaces methodology that we apply when approaching an interior design project or a space in a holistic way. So let's start at the top. What is holistic interior design? Because it is truly a mouthful to say. I always like to start by talking about traditional interior design and defining that first. So if traditional interior design is all about beauty and function, holistic interior design goes a bit deeper by acknowledging the tremendous effect our spaces have on our health and well-being. And a bunch of studies are now coming out to prove all of this. So the science is really there to back this up. So what does it mean when I'm designing with a more holistic approach? It means I am going beyond just aesthetics and decor, and I'm designing for the whole being, and that is with a capital B. So I'm talking about mind, body, and soul, and also taking Mother Nature into consideration the way that ancient indigenous people did, with a lot of reverence and respect, and trying to make decisions that are also in alignment with her. So it is, in my opinion, a much more powerful way to think about and design a space. Because a beautiful space doesn't always take into consideration what might be best for the person living there or working there, right? It's generally about aesthetics, functionality, and a lot of the time what's trendy at the moment, which is actually really shitty. It's handing over a lot of power to whoever decides what those trends are. There's no understanding of how things we choose or that an interior designer may choose for a client might be affecting a person. It could look cool as fuck, but it could be affecting someone in an adverse way. And this is what I'm here to talk about and share with you. Another added bonus about holistic interior design in teaching this approach and this way of looking at our spaces, I found that it creates a rise in awareness and consciousness about how the world works, how we interact with it, and how we're affected by the physical world in a much deeper way than we think or that we can see. So just listening to this knowledge can actually be really, really eye-opening. And I hope that's what it does for you today. Literally like ahas everywhere. That's my goal. So let's move on to why this is important. Studies are now coming out that demonstrate that our homes, communities, and surrounding environments directly affect our daily motivations, behaviors, and lifestyle. And these factors determine 80 to 90% of our health outcomes. The minute that I understood this as an interior designer, my first thought was, how does every interior designer not know this and practice a more holistic approach to design? And two, why the fuck are we focusing so much on exercise and diet and sleep for wellness? And nobody, absolutely nobody that at least I know about, is taking the look, feel, and design of their homes and offices into consideration in terms of how it impacts their health and overall well-being. If we know that our spaces and environments have an impact on us, then we really need to dig deep and understand how it impacts us, and what are some of the things that we can do to potentialize our spaces and make sure that they're supportive instead of draining. So let me give you an easy example. Color is huge. We are taking it in all the time, not only through our eyes, but also actually through our skin. A lot of the times as interior designers, we might pick a color for a client because they love it or because it's trendy. But generally speaking, bright colors have the tendency to energize us, and softer colors have the tendency to bring our energy levels down. So picking bright colors for, let's say, a 3-year-old's room that's maybe bursting with energy and might have trouble sleeping at night, the room could look great, it could be photographed beautifully, but is it actually helping that kid? Or is it detrimental to his or her well-being? And would him or her be better off in a room painted in softer colors? That's an example of where maybe you're choosing a paint color for aesthetic reasons, where mentally and emotionally it could be having a negative effect on your kid. And there's a bunch of examples I can give like this. I see it every time I open an interior design magazine. beautiful homes and rooms, but a lot of the times I'm seeing things in them that make me think about how they could actually be negatively affecting the people living in these homes, which is fucking mind-blowing. And this is in large part what this podcast is about, showing you all the different ways our spaces and environments affect us, and then what you can do to leverage your space for better health, happiness, productivity, and well-being, along with those traditional aspects of interior design, beauty, functionality, all of that. So at Gala Design, we've developed 12 different concepts or tenets that make up our approach to a successful holistic interior design project. And I'm going to introduce you to all 12 of them very quickly in sort of a top-level way, and then I'll be diving deeper into each one in future episodes. A little bit about how I developed this approach. So I have certifications in Feng Shui, holistic interior design, and my first year and a half in Vastu, which is an ancient Indian architecture way of building. And what I realized after studying all of these and working with all of these is a combination of some of the ancient practice that can be used in a more modern way, along with things that are in our modern lives, like color and air and light, was what was going to make up the most comprehensive approach to touch on all of the things that might affect you on a space and that you want to pay attention to. So the first one I call Feng Shui and the language of space. And Feng Shui, in large part, is about layout, how things flow, intentionality in placing things like art. It's ensuring that there's no clutter. And at the same time, it gave me this understanding. And I'm going to bring in a Coco Chanel quote, and that is that an interior is the natural projection of the soul. So Feng Shui really helped me understand the influence that our environment has on us, but also inversely, that our spaces and what we use to create our homes and our offices is simply a reflection of ourselves. So a lot of the time we can use that to check in and see if it's an accurate reflection, if it's a reflection that's supportive, or if it's one that's draining. Feng Shui also gave me the tools to look at an environment and analyze it for balance through the use of yin and yang energies and the 5 elements that make up nature, and then bringing that and applying it to your space so that you can look at your space and analyze it and make changes to it. So that for me is an incredibly amazing and powerful practice. And I give lots of thanks to ancient China and that civilization for bringing that to the world. Secondly, I want to talk about sanctuary. In today's crazy, chaotic, stressful life that we all lead, where a lot of people live in a stressful state 24/7, when really stress was meant to be a heightened moment. Say if a tiger was chasing you, everything kicks in so you can get away from that tiger. But nowadays, people are living in continued stress. So how are we intentional in creating a space for sanctuary in our homes? What does that look like? What can we do to create a small pocket that says, hey, come here and de-stress for 5 to 10 minutes a day? What does that look like? Why is it important? Third in our Beyond Spaces methodology is community and sociability, and designing for that and being intentional about that, even if you are just putting together your home for a family. This came about post-COVID. The biggest pandemic started being loneliness. And because of the digital lives that we lead and work from home, loneliness is very prevalent in a lot of societies, not just in America. So as an interior designer, for me, when I approach someone's home or office or even a retail store, it's with this idea of how do I make it easier for people to commune and come together? For you, thinking about designing a living room for your family, you want to make sure that the sofa is big enough for everybody. Everybody has a seat at the table. Bedrooms of, say, kids are maybe all on the same floor, so one child doesn't feel left out. Our fourth tenet is energy. And all of matter, all of the physical world is made up of energy. A lot of people have a hard time believing in it because they can't see it, touch it, smell it, feel it. Quantum physics tells us, though, that everything that we can touch that's a hard surface is actually made of energy. And the easy way to access that feeling and understand that is by answering this question. Have you ever walked into a space after somebody has had an argument and you literally feel yucky? Nothing's been said in front of you. You just like, I need to get out of here. This room feels weird. So a study out of the Netherlands actually shows evidence that our nervous system can detect the emotional residue in a room. Study volunteers were able to pick up on fear, disgust, and happiness after people feeling those emotions left the room. So what does that mean? Our spaces hold old emotional debris, and we want to do certain rituals or bring people in to do those rituals to cleanse that energy, to bless the space so that you are starting from a blank slate. Tenet number 5, biophilia. This just means bringing nature in. There's 14 different ways that you can do this. And the reason why this is important is twofold. One, by 2050, the majority of the world's population is going to be living in cities with very minimal access to nature. So one of the ways that we can mitigate that, in addition to being mindful and forcing ourselves to go outside and take a walk every day, is by bringing nature inside. Easiest way to do this, and what we're seeing a lot in interior design now, is plants. Bring plants in. Even art that shows pictures of nature has positive benefits. Studies show that there was a patient recovering from, I believe it was heart surgery, in one room with view of trees. Another patient recovering from the same surgery with no view. And the patient that had views to those trees recovered faster and needed less pain medication. So access to nature has been proven to boost mood, reduce stress, and lower heart rate. Number 6, light. Light is so important. I have so much to say about this. The biggest thing here as I do this introduction is understanding that throughout the day, the sun is affecting how we feel through our hormones. And so when you go into an office and you don't have access to that sun, the cues that the sun is giving you are cut off. So access to natural light, spending at least 30 minutes outside a day is really beneficial and really such a small thing to do. Number 7, air. Air quality is becoming very important because of pollution, but also post-COVID. So fresh air and access to fresh air also been shown to improve productivity, brain cognition, and mood. A series of ways to get this right in a space. The easiest is to open your windows and ventilate your space throughout the day. Number 8, EMFs. Electromagnetic frequencies, and those occur naturally with underground water and geopathic stress, but also, as you might be more familiar with, they're also man-made. All of our electronics, our Wi-Fi routers, cell towers emit these low frequencies, and low frequencies are considered to not harm us. However, some studies are showing that even though it's a low frequency that we're being exposed to, the fact that it's 24/7 and never stops can create some health issues. Symptoms include problems sleeping, headaches, dizziness, memory loss, and loss of concentration. One simple thing that we can do there is either turn the Wi-Fi off at night so you have 8 hours where you're not getting blasted with EMF, or make sure you're sleeping far, far away from your Wi-Fi router. Tenet number 9, healthy materials. I got my certification at the Parsons Healthy Materials Lab and never looked at my house the same when I understood how many toxins we have inside our homes. And in fact, our indoor air quality is more polluted than our outdoor air quality. So materials that your desk is made of, your bed, a child's crib, unless they're made from natural, unpolished wood, they are emitting toxins into the air and we're breathing them. And if you're not ventilating your space, you're really taking them in for a while. Adhesives from wallpaper, from flooring and carpet also emit VOCs and gases that are toxic. It can be very easy to obsess over this stuff. So when I dive into this, I really like to look at it from a solution-oriented perspective. What can we do? In what rooms is it really, really important to get this right? Number 10, color. So many times people choose colors because they love them or because they're trendy. And color is so powerful. Color affects us even when we're sleeping because we take it in through our skin. So we really have to be intentional when we use this and understand, for the most part, that bright colors energize and uplift us, and more muted, softer colors chill us out and bring us down. And there's ways that knowing this, you can be really intentional about color in your space, and then the space is more supportive to what you want to be doing. Number 11, this is where honoring Mother Nature and planet Earth really comes in, and that is sustainable choices. Brand names like West Elm, Crate and Barrel, and some others, there's now a filter that lets you shop from sustainable products. Why is this important? Because you're making a choice that is not only good for you, but also good for the planet. And now, more than ever, we need that. Number 12, a less is more approach. This one's huge. And this also plays into sustainability and honoring Mother Earth. Here in America, a lot of people get caught up in wanting more, having to show off huge homes, a bunch of cars. One could say that this is a way of living out of alignment, of having more things than you actually can need or use. So less is more is all about choosing a home that's the right size, where all of the rooms are getting used, and where you're just buying what you need to function well and to fill the space nicely. So this is a broad spectrum of 12 different things you can do. Sometimes we get to all of them. Sometimes on a project, we just apply 3 or 4. It really depends what's important to our clients. And if you're looking at this, what stood out to you? What was oh my God, fuck yes, I want to know more about this. I want to do this. That is how you start incorporating this when you're approaching your own home or your own office or your own space. If this resonated, please drop me a message, hit follow, hit subscribe. I will be breaking these down further in future episodes, applying them to real life situations. And also, I want to hear from you. This has sparked anything. What more do you want me to talk about? What more do you want me to share with you? Thank you for tuning in to episode 1. I can't believe this is it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for wanting to be intentional about your space.